second. All right, so it looks like Rochelle is here. Let me see. And we also need Leticia. Let me know, Naya, if Leticia has it. Does she know that there is a correct link and an incorrect link?
Right. Leticia was here.
Mhm,
They were the first person on this live, and then they left.
mhm.
I think they'll be back, but I can also email them that we are on or we're live right now.
All right. And Rochelle, are you there? Yeah. Right. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Let's see. Um, all right, so I'll get started in just a second. Um, all right. So yeah, one, I just want to get started, get some information out there, and then we'll also make sure that we get these Google quizzes out as well. Um, one thing that um, One thing that we had the fortune of having, right, is having Mr. Anthony Walker come through last week and discuss with us the ins and outs of trademarking. And I know that this came up actually for a few different reasons. I'm sure that some people may want to protect their information because they have the intention or the plans to have a class, a workshop, and have information that they can use in an effort to not just inform people, but information that they want to protect that they created. And so, since we have gotten that information, I am super excited that we were able to get that information both from Anthony and also hear other people's experience around it as well. Again, I'm always grateful that Miss Pamela Tate is part of the class because she does come with a wealth of experience, right? Having run into some of the issues that come with copywriting, some of the issues that come with what is that called? Having some type of trademark for your information, and the need for such things. And so, um, again, definitely glad that he came through last week and was able to discuss that, and wanted to make sure that we hit on a number of the topics that he discussed, for not only this meeting but also for the folks that were not able to be there, and for those folks who were there but also still need the refresher, right? And so we will be having a Google Classroom quiz link that will be sent out in just a bit. But one of the things that I was glad that he mentioned was the importance of the paper trail, right? I think that one thing that has been a big disadvantage for a lot of folks, particularly for us as African Americans, because we are responsible for so many cultural phenomenon that manage to garner money for corporations, for businesses, for companies. That a lot of times when we create something in an effort to be creative. We create something for creation's sake. However, someone else who has a video camera, who is writing things down, who knows how these things work, they manage to find ways to get us to uh, provide our ingenuity, if you will, and allow them to get the profits from these different things without us having done so. And this makes me think a lot, of course, about music artists. This makes me think a lot about even people who don't just create um, lyrics and things like that, but they also create certain sounds that may have even what I would say engineered certain things around technology in an effort to create certain sounds. And there are people who know how to replicate these things. There are people who know how to not only replicate it, but to get their name signed onto it as if they created it. When I think about the term vulture, many things come to mind. I think about the folks who prey on our culture, but then I also think about the folks who intentionally look for opportunities to get our names, to get our ideas trademarked, copywritten for their sake. These are the types of things that do happen, whether we're talking, like I said, about certain music, lyrics, and artists, but we're also talking about things that show up on social media. And I thought a lot about that too, because we love and we understand that social media is a platform. We love and we understand that social media does give us exposure to people that we don't know. We understand that social media gives us an opportunity to sell things to people that we've never seen, that we never met, and has many benefits to it. However, there are also things that can happen on social media, that do happen on social media, that manage to take our images, take our gifs, if you will. I think they're called GIFs, GIFs. Um, Take our memes, take our what are those called? Our slang terms, the things that we make up, and some people can manage to, by simply making a shirt using some of our favorite phrases. I think of all the ways that language keeps changing, and there's always new slang and so forth. But with that being said, I'm sure that there are people who coin those terms uh, at home and they type it out and they get a lot of attention for it. But then there are the people who take the time to type it out and get it sent to the trademark office so that they could actually get this information associated with themselves. This is something that I've seen people do in a very criminal way as well. Because sometimes this could be, hey, I was thinking, I thought that would be great for a shirt, so I put, for instance, namaste, right? I think about namaste because people use, namaste, prayed up, namaste, healthy, something like that, right? And next thing you know, they have that shirt, but they don't have the copyright, or someone else goes ahead and gets the copyright, but they don't have the shirt. And the person who has the copyright, or rather the trademark around that particular term, has more power because they can tell the person who actually creates the shirt, sells them wherever that they could tell them that they have to cease and desist because they don't have the trademark. The person who got the trademark and didn't create the shirt does. And so it really speaks to um, the importance of understanding how brilliant our ideas can be. And this is what's really tricky about the whole process, is because we could come up with a bunch of ideas. We could come up with a bunch of lyrics. We could come up with a bunch of ideas for shirts, hats, bracelets, whatever it is. But we also can think, you know what, nobody will really care about this. This won't get a lot of attention. This won't be a big deal. And next thing you know, you never know, somebody gets a hold of it and promotes it on their page. Somebody gets a hold of it and promotes it in their city. And next thing you know, it starts getting national attention or starts getting at least local attention. And you're thinking, I came up with that idea. I put it on social media, sure, but I'm the one that created that idea. And I am surprised that they took it and used it for their own advantage. But I'm actually really surprised too that it actually meant a lot to a lot of other people that I didn't expect it would mean a lot to. And so, with that being said, I really want to draw attention to the fact that since we don't know when our ideas will be great, we should at least be acquainted with the trademark um, process for when we think that we really are onto something, especially when we really feel like we're going to put our energy and our efforts and our time and our money behind something that we think will be a great idea. At that very point, we should go, it's not $1,000, right? It's probably going to cost something around $100 to $200, maybe a little bit more. Let's go ahead and just spend that little bit of money and go through this paperwork stuff because it just might be a thing that can have life today, next year, a few years from now, a number of years from now. And this is what's really interesting about the way that these types of things work. For instance, when I talk to my son about investing, I bring up the fact that some of his toys are toys that came out when I was little, right? Some of these movies that come out, they originated from cartoons that came out when I was little. And I go, you don't even know. But the reality is, the people who wrote these scripts, who initially came up with these characters and this idea, they are probably in their 80s. They're probably passed away. They're probably dead and gone. However, their idea is still bringing in money. And because you don't know that 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, they're going to have a Transformer movie. They're going to have another Avengers, let's say, trilogy. They're going to have another series come out that's depicting things around Ninja Turtles, right? Because we don't know that these things will catch fire 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it would behoove us to get the trademarks sooner than later. Again, especially if we're going to put energy behind it. To some degree, it would behoove us to be very careful what we put on social media and when we put things on social media. And this is actually really hard for me because, like I know, we can post 1,000 things and we don't know when something's going to blow up, quote unquote, when something's going to go viral and when it's not. Therefore, it might behoove us to be careful not to use certain terms that we're creating on social media until we've gotten certain trademarks. Maybe we shouldn't use certain terms or certain ideas on social media until we've gotten the trademark and then created the shirt and then created the whatever it is. It may be the hat, whatever it may be. So that by the time people are starting to get privy to this idea, this new thing that you came up with, you already you already have the legal backing behind you that says if anybody else thinks this is amazing, they're going to have to come through me. They're going to have to come through my lawyers. They're going to have to come through this process because I made sure to protect this before I even put it out there. And so with that being said, it means that to some degree we have to take ourselves a little bit more serious than we may feel comfortable taking ourselves that serious. We may have to take our ideas a little bit more serious than we feel comfortable doing. But this is really in an effort to protect ourselves and protect it's not just protection, right? But rather protecting ourselves and profiting insofar as profiting is allowed, right? Profiting insofar as profiting is allowed. I remember, this is a long time ago. I remember watching a show. I think it was probably like Jay Leno or something like this, or Jimmy Kimmel, and a guy who was on social media that made a video, and somebody else remixed that video, made a song out of it. And this was happening a few times around the early 2000s. But what was fortunate is the person who remixed the song said that he's going to give money and make sure he pays the person who initially created that video. Um, and it was hide your kids, hide your wives. Uh, that melody, or rather that video, and they made the video, and then they made the beat to the video. They chopped it up, remixed it, whatever they did, and then that thing went viral, and it was absolutely hilarious. One, but then two is that started bringing money into the question around this video that was posted by somebody. I think it was like a news station. And so, fortunately, that person did get credit for saying those things, and then he also got paid for um, the video that was made after the fact that he said those things. With that being said, it makes me think also about Dapper Dan, right? Dapper Dan created some clothing in the 80s. I want to say even maybe the late 70s into the 80s for some for the first rappers and so forth. And he got a lot of attention. He's actually the one that came up with the patterns that you see on Gucci and Louis Vuitton and stuff like that, and how they have them all over the clothing. That's Dapper Dan. Let's just start there. Dapper Dan did that. That had nothing to do with how Gucci rolled and how they came up with their clothes. But when he did it, he was just being creative, coming up with a great idea, put it out there, people started wearing it, other people started wanting it. And next thing you know, because he didn't have any type of rights to those brands or connection to those brands, he ended up not having any power to say, hey, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Coach, I see what you guys are doing. That's my idea that you guys are having in all your stores. I'm gonna need you guys to give me a cut of that. Fast forward 30 years, he doesn't get any credit for that from those companies. In fact, they join together and get his business shut down, but they still keep his ideas and put them and use them in their clothing. They get him shut down. He goes underground. He continues to make clothes, but he doesn't have any big name or anything. 2021, everything's happening with George Floyd. The country's up in arms, trying to deal with the new attacks, if you will, against racism, and people trying to deal with racism. And I believe Gucci, and most likely it was Gucci, they had a fashion show and they had some clothing that was reminiscent of what Dapper Dan created in the 80s. Next thing you know, Twitter loses it about it and says, man, Dapper Dan needs to get his credit for creating this clothing and these ideas. And he's minding his own business, and he just starts getting these calls from Gucci. And Gucci's like, we got to talk. We can help you out. We can figure out how to get you credit for these different things because we've been doing these things. And you should get credit for your ideas. And they start a conversation that leads into a business deal that allows him to get paid for his involvement with Gucci. I won't say it has anything to do with back pay necessarily, but it does give him the opportunity to create, to make money now with Gucci and other brands, right? I want to say with Louis Vuitton and so on and so forth. And now he is being, I believe he has an office with Gucci. I believe he has a couple of stores. He has a Dapper Dan store, but he also has a store. I believe he has clothing with Gucci that he gets paid for. So a lot has changed for him, but it's because of not only him having creative ideas, but also people saying, hey, we need these things to be corrected for his sake. And at the end of the day, he's now getting paid. He's in some respect, he has a resurgence. He's making clothes. He's on commercials. He has a deal with Gap. I actually have a couple of his sweaters that say DAP instead of Gap. I think it's so dope. But at the end of the day, he is getting that because of things around trademarks. So all that to say, is that there are very real examples of people getting played for these things. And there are very real examples of people overcoming these struggles because they've managed to take the time to go ahead and make it a effort to get all of the information necessary to get to have their information shared only with the people that are getting paid for this, and it pays the people who created it. Um, Um, okay, so all that to say, so one, I do want to get this link out. I do want to get this link out. Again, I don't know if people can hear or not, but whether or not people can hear, I want to make sure that people get the link to the Google Classroom quiz, and that people can actually take the time to take that quiz. So I'm going to get this to Naya. Let me get this to Naya ASAP. The title of the quiz will be Chapter 6 quiz, but it will also include questions from Anthony Walker's presentation. So let me get this out. I want to copy it to clipboard, and I'm going to put this in the link for let's see there. Yeah. So that is the quiz link for the Google Classroom quiz, which I want you all to take right now. And let me know, Naya, if you can access it. Let me know if it needs to be emailed and all that stuff like last time. Because I am honestly, again, this is all new to us, so we're trying to make sure that everybody has access to it that is supposed to.
Right. Can you send the link in the private chat? The one that's like at the bottom. I can't copy and paste from the comments.
Okay, cool. All right, let me know if that works for y'all. But yes, I'm seeing now that Rochelle had put Gucci right, exactly. And so again, a lot of times, I mean, honestly, the trademark issue speaks a lot to our relationship to the establishment, our relationship to the law, our relationship to the government, our relationship to white people. A lot of us don't seek those things because we have no relationship to it. We have a very distant relationship with all of these institutions. And honestly, I don't think that we particularly feel protected even when we have these things in our favor. And I'm sure that there are people in Black history, people in the past who have made those efforts to protect their stuff and things weren't protected. I am sure that there are people who went through all the right channels and those things were not protected as well. And so I know that the hesitation to protect our things, one, has to do with the finances. Two, has to do with the legal, if you will, requirements for it and how comfortable we feel doing that. But then, of course, it has to do with our relationship into the establishment. And if we don't, since our relationship is so checkered, if you will, or so complicated, I could definitely see why a lot of people wouldn't trademark their ideas and trademark their their drawings, or trademark their characters, trademark their lyrics, or even how artists may not even want to have a lot of the, if you will, the masters and so on and so forth, and get royalties for all these things, because I am sure that somebody makes it really complicated, makes it more difficult to get the money, if they do pursue those types of legal funds, if you will. But when that happens, it really gets super complicated. And so I know that we would probably have to fight harder in order to get the copyrights, and fight harder to get the trademarks, and fight harder to have the money for lawyers if anyone else uses it, all that stuff. It gets super complicated and complex. However, it is nonetheless an important step to take for the sake of protecting our businesses and protecting our intellectual property. All right, says you need permission, need access. All right, so again, what we ended up doing last time was sending the link directly to their emails. And I'm not sure, Naya, if we can, how I can do that with you virtually. But what I do know, if you can send me their emails, email addresses, then I can let me see. Let me see if I have to do. See, now it says assign, so it looks like I assigned it. Let me know. Did that help? I clicked assign. Let me know if that helped. Okay. Let me know if you guys have access at all, if you still need access. Chapter 6 in trademark training. Let me know if you guys have access and are able to complete it. Okay, it can only be used with permission. Let's see. Still says needs permission. Interesting. So to those two emails. Okay, so I'm sending it right now. It asked me if I am sure that I want to open it up to people who are not part of YCD, and I said yes. So let me know if you guys can open it now.
Yes, we can open it.
Awesome. Good stuff. So yes, please complete that right now. Again, more than anything, because it may be hard, and I did make some of the multiple choice, and I did leave up some of those for short answers. But the biggest part is that one that you guys are taking it, and then two, that we can review anything that you guys missed. We definitely want to make sure that you guys get this critical, useful information. This is just for interesting. Okay. I'm also sending out invites to be part of Google Classroom, so that when I send things to here, everybody can see them. And so I do have you two, and I just sent one to Pam as well. And I will put Naya in here as well. This may be the easiest way for us to stay connected. All right, I see, Leticia, that says you're saying that uh, your reception is bad. So yeah, definitely try to get to a location where the reception is good. But also that can be a huge issue, as you guys see, for our meetings. If we don't have reception, then it's like we're not really getting a chance to meet. And so we should actually, I would say towards the end of this meeting, we can discuss timings again, things that can work for people's schedules. Because if we are meeting virtually, but if we don't have reception, then that's not the meeting that we want to have. Mm-hmm. I see. I hear that, Leticia. Lord, I hear that. And so, yeah, and I can attest to that too, right? You haven't had reception problems before. So, but yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we are aware of those things for the sake of these meetings. So yeah, we'll again try to make sure that we're handling it the best for the next coming meetings. Let me see how this one's looking. No, I can't hear you. It does seem like you are on. So, but yeah, I can't hear you. If you can write the question out in the comments, that'd be great. But yeah, I can't hear you currently. Interesting. He's saying that it won't allow you to turn it in. Let me see if there's anything on my end that's showing up. That would be really unfortunate. So let me know, Rochelle, if I don't see it. I see that Naya turned hers in. Let me know, Rochelle, if you can respond to the email invite for the classroom and see if that helps at all with regard to your access. That may be an issue. That may be what's going on. But yeah, let me know if that helps at all. Because currently it looks like the only person that responded is Naya. And so I definitely would need the responses from both you and Leticia. But that may help. But I'm not sure. So again, we have to just try to troubleshoot it to the best of our ability. Okay, let me write it. so I am seeing the answers that you screenshotted to me, Rachel. Let me know, or Rochelle, let me know again if you can respond to the Google Classroom's invite. Cool. And for you, Artesia, and in order for us to review it, excuse me, with Rochelle and discuss the answers and so forth, we would need you to log off, unfortunately, just so that we could discuss it. And if she hears and everything, then that could work out well so that she can get all the answers. And then you can take it and then watch the video after you take it to get any feedback on the answers. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and technology and so on and so forth, super important, especially on these days, but even on the other days too. So that's something that we have to make sure that we pay close attention to. But yeah, please get back in touch with us, Leticia, as soon as you can. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. And for Rochelle, let me know about that Google Classroom's invite that we just sent to you, and let me know if you get it and if that gives you any more access. But we can also discuss your answers too once you get that back to me too. All right, let me know how it's going on your end, Rochelle. Okay. So now I'm currently inviting you to become one of the teachers in the class. And it looks like I sent out the emails for both Rochelle and Leticia, and then also to Pamela Tate for joining the class. Rochelle, can you hear me? Can you, just let me know if you can hear me, one. And then two, if you can speak, let me know. Three, if you can't, just make sure that you respond to the email inviting to the class. If we can't speak, then I should also log off because no one's here. So let me know. Okay, so yeah, I'll log off and I will, we'll reconnect. But I want to make sure that everybody has the invite to the class and that we can move forward from here. So next week we'll meet in person and we will be figuring out exactly who's going to speak and what they're going to talk about, but we will make sure that we have some good information for you all so that we can move forward with the class. All right, we'll talk with you guys soon. Please watch the video if you missed it.